Welcome to Spotlight Gulf Coast, a weekly showcase of people and events across South Mississippi. Sponsored by the IP Casino Resort and Spa, Mississippi Power Company, Gulf Sales and Supply, and Butch Osterlet Autoplex.
Hi everyone, this is Todd Trenchard, your host of Spotlight Gulf Coast. We want to thank WXXV and all of our sponsors for this generous opportunity they're affording to us as we talk about what's going on all across South Mississippi. Of course, today we have with us Ms. Shelley Moses, the Executive Director of Make-A-Wish of Mississippi. And Shelley, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I know that last year, as I was attending your big event at the Beau Rivage, I saw you running around, and I think I said to myself, that's me. On just other events, you were in the zone. And
you have to be in the zone.
when you get to events of that size, and we'll get to that, but we want to start out because we were just, talking a little bit about Make-A-Wish. What a great organization it is. So why don't you fill us in about what y'all's mission is and who you do try to help?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So at Make-A-Wish, we grant wishes for children that are critically ill.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be between the ages of a minimum of 2.5 and up to 18 years of age.
Right.
And so, if a child does qualify for a wish, that's kind of when the magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we go out into teams and find out what their one true wish is and literally make that wish come true.
And so year-round, you're out in the community trying to bring awareness of needs, and then you may have a couple special events that help fund that, but that's not all that.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, if we relied strictly on our special events for funding, we wouldn't be able to grant wishes.
Right.
We are looking at probably granting this year in our state. We had budgeted originally for 115. We will end up granting around 125, maybe a little bit more this year. So we've been very, very busy, and generally about a third of them come from South Mississippi. So our Gulf Coast is definitely a very active force in the wish granting.
Now, this is a national organization, so you're under an umbrella, but the different states do have a little bit of their own autonomy. And
we have all of our autonomy pretty much. While we fall under the Make-A-Wish Foundation of America, we strictly are funded by Mississippi and our donors here in Mississippi. We don't receive the national funding or any government grants or anything along those lines.
So you're out there trying to learn your local community, keep the awareness
We're
top
trying
of
to
mind.
keep the awareness top of mind.
Mm-hmm.
We really have to get into some of our other communities outside of just strictly the Gulf Coast, because right now we even have 6 kids just in George County that are waiting on the list. So, our rural counties are where we have a lot of the more difficult time raising the funds to be able to grant the wishes for their own kids.
Now, as part of that, I guess you're talking at maybe civic groups, or you're looking for opportunities like this.
Absolutely.
Helps get out.
Just like this. Civic groups that we go to and we spread the word. We're able to go into schools even. We love it when the kids raise money for kids.
Right.
That's even the best.
I know that in situations like this, a lot of your promotion is word of mouth. A family that's been through something, maybe talking to another. But when something like this happens to a child, a parent really may not know where to go. And I think that's probably one of the, things that keeps you going.
It does. We need to do a lot of outreach to make sure people realize that we are an organization that's out there. It's not an organization just for children that may be terminal. While that's how we originally were founded, that's not the case, because fortunately there's been so many medical advances out there that are able to keep the children alive to fight for another day. But what we have found is that wish is part of that process, because they're able to focus on something positive. They're able to think about things that'll get them through the treatments and something to look forward to. And at the end of the day, they just want to be a kid. And
that hope and that you bring to the family and maybe to the kid is what keeps the family going and the kid going. It can change everything about everything.
It keeps us all going. It keeps me going as well.
Now, you're located over here in the Knight Nonprofit Center.
We are, yes.
And a lot of people may not know where your office is. So.
We are. We are in the Knight Nonprofit Center on Seaway Road in Gulfport. But being an office of one, my office generally consists of my car and wherever I need to be out in the community.
A lot of volunteers. You've got a bang up board of directors.
We have a phenomenal board of directors,
Right.
one who you'll be talking to pretty soon.
Right.
But we do. We rely on our volunteers. So, if you can give, somebody says, I can't give a whole lot of time. If you could even just give a couple of hours a month, that adds up really, really quickly.
I know that a lot of people, they think, and I'm in the same boat, until just recently, staff of 1 or 2 people getting a lot done, but you have to rely on the board members, volunteers, people that have that same passion. And you certainly have done that well. I mean, you landed the big fish in the boat, with the Beau Rivage. And when you have an event there, there's a reason. They vetted you. They know that you're going to put in the work, to make a successful event. And like I said, the event last year was so over the top that I think it stunned a lot of people. People had been not going out for a while, and now everybody started coming out. And, it's one of the larger crowds that I've seen.
It kind of stunned us as well. So
Right.
we were expecting a large turnout. We were overwhelmed with the response that we got from the community, but we have adjusted to be prepared now, and we're looking forward to another sellout event.
Well, and again, when you're approached by a lot of the causes, you have to understand that, again, that you, like you said, you are relying on these donations to further your local mission. There's not a lot of money coming from, and that's just such a misconception with a lot of groups.
It really is, and particularly with us, since we are national, people think, oh, Make-A-Wish, you don't need money. That's far from the case, because we do. Like I said, these kids' wishes don't get granted without the community coming to support us and making sure that it happens.
Right. We've got a couple minutes before we got to take a commercial break, and then Missy Dombrowski will be coming on. We're talking about, of course, the Beau Rivage and their commitment to the community. We do have some great community servants down here, some very large corporations, but it's also the small individual that just writes that check.
A lot of times when you have the people that say, my check is not as valuable as a large corporation's, to me, it's just the opposite. I love the people that are able to write that $25 check because it's coming from their heart.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. We like it when it has commas and zeros as well.
Right.
But it's when people give from the heart that what makes all the difference in the world.
We're going to talk about that a lot more, second segment, third segment. But on this segment here, if somebody wanted more information about Make-A-Wish, do they contact you directly?
They can contact me directly. Our number here is 228-575-8691. You can also visit our website at www.ms.wish.org.
Right.
And they'll be able to get me that way as well.
Well, or get in touch with Missy. That's how I've always
Get in touch with somebody. I don't care. Just get in touch with us.
Well, again, we're going to talk a lot more about that, because it does take those partnerships. And when you're able to put on a big event like this, it raises a lot of money, but it also brings a lot of awareness to those people. Look forward to the next year. So we're going to get you to come back on the third segment.
Okay.
Appreciate the information for right now. And again, we don't want you to touch this remote. We've got Missy Dombrowski coming on the next segment. We're going to talk about the Beau Rivage, their commitment to South Mississippi. So we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. And as we were saying on the first segment, we're now joined by Missy Dombrowski with the Beau Rivage. And Missy, we've done this before.
We have done this before.
I think in Pascagoula,
We did.
maybe last year, maybe the year before. But we've done a lot of things together over the years, obviously with your position at the Beau Rivage, my position out in the community. And sometimes our worlds come together. And I was trying to think the first time I ever went inside the Beau Rivage, you're in this world-class facility.
You are.
In, Little Mississippi, but it's like at another level.
It is.
Of just how it's all put together. Just the flowers each day have got to be something that's just mind-boggling. But the Beau Rivage, like the IP, like a lot of our gaming facilities, have been so committed to our local community. And that's what's made it so special down here.
Yes, it has. We had the pandemic and a lot of people were furloughed, a lot of places were shut down. And when we opened back up at the Beau, management said, look, Missy, make sure we're still, for the community to know that Beau Rivage is still invested in the community, regardless of a pandemic going on or anything else going on, you know, in the community, that we're there. And we're there for the community, we're there for the charities and all the nonprofits. And
I think part of the business model, though, is to get involved in the community, serve on board of directors, and
yes.
again, we've served on board of directors together, and from there, it may be Lighthouse Academy for Dyslexia that is brought to you, or the YMCA that's brought to you, but it's because, you know, we're serving on boards of directors. And we're getting to know each other.
We are.
And Mary does that a lot, obviously, in the community.
She does.
And y'all have got, you know, obviously some world-class facilities with Fallen Oak, which makes it a little bit easy to, you know, build this Mississippi Gulf Coast. But again, the nonprofit sector of this region is, I don't know that you could possibly have ever done this without gaming. To have all these groups that come together and take a chance, because in some ways you do have to take a chance on somebody that has the passion and stuff, but can they put on a big event? Right.
No, that's a fact. The nonprofits have really gotten better with what they're raising their money, and it's been because of gaming and because of the facilities and the amenities that the resorts can give. And there's not many places you can go and put on huge events on the coast. And the humanitarian, the YMCA, which is coming back to DeBow in November, it's gotten bigger and bigger. It's taken up all of our Magnolia Ballroom.
Right.
And we hope that all nonprofits can, you know, do that in the events that we have there.
I think what's really, you know, it used to be everybody was in their own silos, but then people started venturing out. And before you know it, you know, we were talking about Anthony coming over and being fashion show at IP, or we may have somebody from, you know, Kim Getz coming over and doing something at the Beau Rivage.
Right.
And that type of relationship where it's not just our facility, you know, and it's strictly there. That would certainly defeat the purpose of a community if everybody just did their own thing.
For sure, because there's a lot of events that we do as far as the Beau that we sponsored other casinos, you know, because at the end of the day, it's about the donation and the sponsorship of that organization, you know.
Now, we've put on, like I said, I can remember over the years, Extra Table, that was such a unique event where we had the five mayors come, and I was able to serve as a judge on that. We've done the Rolling Weeks, you know, awards for years and years with the Chamber of Commerce.
Those are still going on. They've been,
Leadership Awards. The Humanitarian Banquet certainly comes to mind. Make-A-Wish is certainly getting to that level. You have the So-So with Angel Myers. That was just a enormous event. So Make-A-Wish is, you know, another one of those organizations that obviously the Beau Rivage has gotten behind.
Right. Yes.
And
we have.
you know, Shelley does an incredible job, and
she does an incredible job. I'm an 8-year board member, and for Make-A-Wish, very proud of that. And our whole board, we're workers. We get out there, and I think that's what helped make last year's event so successful. We sold out the events before the doors opened. We're hoping that we can do that again this year. I think we have maybe 4 or 5 tables left to sell out, and that's our goal, and we hope to get it.
And, you know, again, a staff of 1, 2, or 3 isn't going to get it done.
No.
You're going to have to get the board, delegate, have everybody bringing a little bit to the puzzle, but it does take a quarterback, and she's definitely the quarterback of Make-A-Wish.
She's definitely the quarterback. And
you live, breathe, and sleep it. And,
yes, we do. We do.
I think that if I had met, when I did meet her, I was saying in the last segment, I said, that's me. You know, you get in the zone, it becomes, you do it as a professional. I mean, this isn't a game. This is your job, and everybody may not understand, oh, he's not too warm and fuzzy right now. Well, no, because we're getting to the end of the road, and we'll talk afterwards. And it takes that sort of mindset sometimes. But when you do have, again, your organization is dependent on a great staff to put the event together. And I mean, you can sometimes stretch it to all limits.
It does, and it encompasses a lot of departments at the Beau. And our catering and banquet staff, they are phenomenal to work these events. And then with horticulture to do the decor, and like you said, the flowers out and the
Well, I used to
bow
go to
and
the
the
events
lobby.
just to take the flowers home so I could act like I had bought some
Right,
flowers.
right, and a lot of people did that.
Well,
And-
and again, it was something that, I can remember even some of the big things like the butterflies.
The
with
butterflies.
the humanitarian award and stuff like that. But obviously a great facility. Now we're going to get Shelley to come back on. And
Okay.
how did the two of y'all meet? You serve on the board of directors.
I do. Going to the Martini Shakedown at the Bow prior to me being in the community affairs position. And everyone knows what Make-A-Wish is. They've
Right.
heard of it. It's been in existence for how many years? 50 over. And
It's one of those that you hear when you were a kid.
Yes,
I mean, it was
yes.
it was sort of the organization that, people got behind. And I actually heard of it a long time before I heard a lot of the other things that,
Right.
have come along today.
right,
So it sort of set the mark, and that test of time. It has to be a great organization if
it's great.
it's got a
It's
great
great.
cause. So,
It does.
appreciate you helping that cause go along. We're
Well,
going
thank you.
to take a short commercial break. We're going to come back. We're going to have Shelley join us back on the stage. We're going to talk with Missy Dombrowski. We're talking about the Beau Rivage and Make-A-Wish Foundation. And again, I want to thank all the gaming institutions here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, because we all come together making this a stronger community. We're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. And ladies, appreciate y'all segments that y'all just did. But I think this is an important segment, how we talk about a nonprofit that is teamed up with a major, obvious organization with the Beau Rivage, and how that has helped certainly you. I mean, it's not going to drive the needle for the Beau Rivage and tourism and that, but without that facility and that investment, you could never have the dream and vision of going to the next level. And with an organization like the Beau Rivage, there's no limit that you can take it.
You're
So
right. You're
if you're in
absolutely
something
right.
much smaller, well, we're outgrowing the bill. Well, you're not going to outgrow the Beau Rivage. You'll just go bigger. And you probably already thought of that.
Well,
We
and
need
that's
to open this door.
Well, and that's kind of what happened with
Right.
us. So the event's been going on for 18 years. And we have, other than when we were in a pandemic, we've always been at the Beau Rivage. I had this harebrained idea about 19 years ago for an event called the Martini Shakedown, and I presented it to the Beau Rivage, and they said, we love it.
Right.
It's not anything that's being done on the coast, because at the time everything was very formal and gala-ish, where
Right.
we've kind of gotten away
Right.
from that these days. And so we started off in like a very small room of Beau Rivage, and now we have maxed out Magnolia and are
We have.
kind of moved in, kind of taken over a little bit of the lobby as well this year.
For
So,
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, again, if you're a nonprofit head and you're thinking of growing your organization, obviously, and we've all had to do that. Well, we maybe started at one part, and then we've moved and morphed and changed and adapted and what works best. Now, Missy, like we were saying on the last segment, sometimes you're bringing not just one department together. It's not just the people that are serving the food or cooking the food. It's those that are promoting the food. And I mean, you've got to delegate, downstairs, moving through the casino and the people. So it does take a little bit of a coordination and knowing
It does.
each other.
It does. It does. From valet, from people pulling up to, valet, to going upstairs, to possibly maybe going to 875 to have a drink first, or going to
And you
eat
better know when
first,
an
and-
event starts and closes,
It-
because
right,
when it
right.
lets out and you got 700-800 people coming at
Right.
you, you might want to have that extra bartender downstairs.
and that too. And now we're putting, like this year, like she said, we're putting a bar out in the foyer, in the lobby of the convention level,
Right.
to try to help ease the lines at the bars. So
I know a lot of times on the bigger events, and of course I've done the Jolly for 20 years. Same thing. You start learning what works. You've got to have those little side things going to keep people occupied. And if it's just 100 people that are over there, it takes 100 people and it keeps them going. The auction's keeping it going.
right.
And of course, you're getting to the grand event of where you're talking about the cause, and you're keeping them there, and you're talking about the cause, and that's where I think you knock it out of the park.
Well, that's where we try, definitely.
Mhm.
We usually have either a parent or sometimes the Wish Kids. This year, the segment that we're working on will feature both. and it's for a child we just granted her wish for, kind of explaining why it was so important for her to get her wish. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's why we're all there. We're all there to raise money for our cause. For, you know, for us, it's Make-A-Wish. For other organizations, that's ultimately what everybody is there for, is, you know, to support that organization and raise as much money as possible. But when you get to sit down and you meet these kids that are there, that are all grown up now, you know, because it's obviously it's a 21 and over event. But when you meet these kids and you find out what kind of an impact that you've had on their lives, you actually see exactly where your money's going. You get to see it, feel it, touch it, and, you know, hug it as well.
I know that you know, I've been a part of this community a long time, and the legacy that you've passed on, and I'll bring her up because she's a great friend of mine, Angel Myers, and Angel used Make-A-Wish, you know, when she was going through what she went through, and now she's putting on an event at the Beau Rivage that's doing the same thing that you sort of peppered into her head, and she's very passionate about it. You have Willow's Warriors, same thing, where parents are understanding that it doesn't have to be that. We can do this and raise awareness of causes and stuff like that. So that's got to be pretty rewarding when you're passing that on.
It is. You know, it's always good, because while we're granting wishes, you need that support to help with those illnesses that are out there. And unfortunately, you have people like Angel who knows firsthand just exactly how devastating it is to have a child diagnosed with an illness and ultimately lose them to it.
I think that organization is one of your sponsors also. And
they are.
That's the true, you know, that shows the kind of person Angel is. And we were just talking, she texted while we were sitting down here.
We have a couple of our former Wish families that believe so strongly in what we were able to do for them, that they support our mission forward. And they pay it forward. Absolutely.
Missy, is the Beau Rivage, you know, obviously the largest building we've got here. It's something that would fit in any city in the world, actually. It just stands out. But how many rooms and how many employees are at the Beau Rivage? I mean, we're in the thousands of
We are.
employees.
We have 1795 rooms. That's including 95 suites. And we have 2,400 employees now.
Unbelievable. And you know, and it really is it's such a world-class facility. I've been blessed to stay there a couple times, been to the Beau Shin Suite, where I was like, what is this? You know, like, this is like a little over the top. Something you watch on TV. I mean, not something, but, you know, it does take that, and it has been such an influential addition to the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And like I said, you probably communicate with a lot of the nonprofits, and you got to be pinching yourself that we have all this. If you were in another city where you're just dealing with like one hotel chain that was in, the rest of them aren't.
We are so very blessed here on the Gulf Coast. I mean, not only do we have these phenomenal facilities like at the Beau Rivage, but we have the community support. Like Missy and I were just saying, we have support from every single casino property in one way or another for our Martini Shakedown this year, which is great.
And you have to also communicate with everybody, so we're not. We used to have the day where we weren't communicating. You'd have 3 or 4 events the same night or the same way, and that can certainly hurt all causes, because people are having to choose. They shouldn't have to choose. And I know that your event that we're having this year is coming up, and this show will actually be airing right when it's coming on. But I don't think there's anything else that's competing around that, and it hasn't been that way all the time.
Right. and it has not, you're correct. But, you know, we've kind of settled into the second week in July for when the Martini Shakedown takes place. And that's kind of what we're locked into.
If you stay there, and people know that.
If we stay there, people know that. And, you know, it's great because, you know, we are in the night nonprofit building, and we're able to communicate with everybody else that's in there to kind of help each other out.
And y'all at the Beau Rivage do not just put on anybody that comes to you. We want to put on an event. Oh, sure. Just here. And then that weekend's over.
We don't.
And no, you have to space it out, because it takes a lot of planning for these to be pulled off. Well, ladies, I appreciate y'all coming on. We've learned a lot. I want to open this show up throughout the year, and to get out the cause, to get out maybe special events that are coming on. We appreciate what y'all do, and looking forward to a long-term relationship with both of y'all.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Todd.
And we appreciate everybody's support. not only of the foundation, but of this television show where we're trying to bring out all the good things that are going on all across South Mississippi. Until next time, this is Todd Trenchard saying so long and may God bless.